and welcome. You tune into Market Fatafat with me, Ankita Saxena, and with me is Kanishka Sarkar. In the next half an hour, we'll take you through all the top buzzers in the trading session, why they're buzzing on the back of the news flows or the fundamentals or the technicals that is really moving the stock. But before that, let's take stock of how the market is shaping up at this juncture. Kanishka, we had started around the flat levels, but right now we have managed to recover from there. In fact, Nifty has managed to touch those 26,000 levels yet again, and we are holding on to it, albeit very, very marginally. We are trading in the green with just 25 points up, but nonetheless, we are trading above the 26,000 levels on the Nifty. Nifty Bank, however, has declined from the day's highest point. In fact, we are down almost 315 points from the day's high. So there are 165 point odd cuts coming in. Nifty Bank's bit of a profit booking that we see coming in on Nifty Bank. Let's take a look at the broader markets then. Mid cap has recovered from the day's lows. In fact, that is up 0.1%, and small caps, however, continues to trade in the red with cuts of 0.1%. So that's where the broader market is doing. So it's a very muted day, but nonetheless, the frontline index is managing to. Sensex is also up very marginally in the green, but is managing to hold on to those 85,150 levels. Advanced decline ratio is tilted in the favor of declines as of now. India VIX has cooled off 1.6%. And speaking of the sectors, we have IT that is firing on all cylinders. That's up 1.5%, with Coforge leading from the front with the gains of almost 3.5%. So IT is really a winner at this juncture, especially after the weakness in the rupee, and therefore IT is of course a legit gainer for that.
Absolutely. So I the top gainer, but then let's get started with all the stocks that are in focus today, individual stocks. And to take us through what's happening on the technical, we are joined by Ashish Kyal, the founder and CEO at Waves Strategy Advisors. Hi Ashish, very good afternoon. Well, let's get to all the stocks that are in focus today. And the first stock of the day is Petronet LNG. Now this one on the back of Petronet LNG and ONGC signing a binding 15-year term sheet for ethane unloading, handling and related services. Now, under this long-term arrangement, Petronet LNG is expected to generate gross revenue of about 5,000 crore rupees. That's over a duration of the contract. Now, global brokerage firm Nomura that has maintained its buy call, rating Petronet LNG with a target price of 360 rupees. It is saying that working with a conservative assumption of a 60% EBITDA margin, estimates suggest that the company could earn around 140 crore in EBITDA in the first year of the contract, and by the 15th year, EBITDA could rise to roughly 275 crore rupees. This even without factoring any margin improvement. So yes, that's Petronet LNG for you, trading more than 4% higher on the back of this term sheet agreement with ONGC.
All right, moving on from Petronet to the next counter that you picked out for us. Ashish, you picked out IndusInd Bank. That's up 2%. In fact, there was a news that they're forming a strategic partnership, which now the bank has denied, of course, and it has cooled off from the highest point of the day. But on the charts, what do you see for IndusInd Bank? What are the levels to watch out for?
IndusInd Bank has been consolidating over past many days, and it's now showing some kind of a positive traction again. The stock is generating good volumes, finding good support at the 20 days moving average also. So there is a possibility we can see the stock move towards the level of around 920 to 940. That's the range where we can expect the stock to go on the upside, and stop loss can be maintained at around 845 levels.
All right, so those are the levels to watch out for as far as IndusInd Bank is concerned. But let's move on to the next counter that is in focus on the back of a brokerage note, and that is Tata Consumers. Citi has come out with a note, and they're maintaining buy call, and the target price that they have set is 1,350 rupees. They feel that India tea growth is likely to be volume led with marginal pricing in the second half. The Indian salt price growth is also likely to annualize in Q3, and the RTD business is back on a strong growth trajectory. They also feel that the capital goods portfolio growth is likely to improve gradually, and they believe that the company is well placed to benefit from the long-term growth opportunity, and also they expect the earnings to be driven by a strong margin recovery for Tata Consumer Products, and therefore Citi is maintaining a buy call. On the back of that, Tata Consumer has cooled off from the highest point of the day, but nonetheless holding out in the green with gains of 0.4%.
All right, so that's Tata Consumer for you. But let's move on and get to another stock that is in focus, and that's Hindustan Copper. Now this one, because it's jumped actually over 5% initially. This is supported by a big global trigger, that is copper prices. They have surged to a record high yet again. Last trading around those $11,500 per ton. This after gaining already 3% yesterday. Now remember, this rally of copper is being driven by tight supply conditions, strong demand expectations from energy transition sectors, and renewed buying in global metals market. Now, as India's only vertically integrated copper producer, Hindustan Copper is a direct beneficiary of rising international prices, which is boosting the sentiment around its realizations and the earnings outlook as well. And hence, on the back of this record high levels for copper, Hindustan Copper is in focus today, trading nearly 7% higher right now.
All right, that is Hind Copper on the back of that news flow. But let's move on to the charts then. Ashish, you picked out Infosys, a mid-cap IT name. Tell us what are the levels to watch out for on Infosys?
See, if you look at the entire IT space, despite of every one return of IT, the overall Nifty IT index has shown a very strong relative outperformance over the past few weeks, especially the mid-cap IT, whether you talk about Tata Elxsi or you talk about Cyient or you talk Infosys, all of those have managed to give a very strong reversal. I think the sector as a whole is turning back on the upside, and Infosys can lead from here on. So the target for the stock comes to around 3,050 over near term, and someone if you can hold for a medium term horizon, we can expect even 3,500 or higher levels. On the downside, the support for the stock is around 2,800.
All right, those are the levels to watch for Infosys. Some of the stocks, the IT stocks that have been rallying on the back of that weakening rupee. But with that, we'll stop for a very short break. Be right back with more on the other side.